Hey y'all, welcome to Girl Meets Screen. My name is Norma, your host or whatever, and today we're talking Love is Blind Season 6, Episode 7 through 9, and we've got some stuff to talk about, honey. So, jumping to Episode 7, we are in Chelsea and Jimmy's room, and yeah, they're over it. Chelsea's over it. She's laughing it off. He's laughing it off. She's talking about, I just want you to, like, I want to feel heard. I want you to say, like, I hear you. Your feelings are valid. And yes, it is important for our partner to validate our feelings, but I need Chelsea to develop healthier ways of communicating what she needs. Also, I need her to be able to separate what she needs or wants from her partner and what her insecurities are telling her. Because she was the one who was like, oh, AD, and like brought attention to it, brought AD into it. He went to apologize to her or whatever, according to him. How true that is, we don't know. But you called it out. You made it public. He was like quietly saying stuff to you. And then you got mad when he's like just mingling. Like, it's so bizarre. And we have Brittany and Kenneth, and they are talking about the conversation he had with AD. Now, I have some thoughts about this, and I want to preface, I'm not a black woman, not a black man. So at the end of the day, like, not even take like what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but like you could choose to just be like, girl, shut up. Or not even listen to what I have to say. But I'm just going to say it because they are thoughts and I'm sharing my thoughts and opinions on the show. So I felt like him and AD's conversation was weird. Not because of the topic. Obviously, that is very important. I'm raising little black children, little black girls. So I totally like agree that is an important conversation. It's not an easy thing. Like, you get what I'm trying to say. But where I felt like it was weird was like, she knew Brittany first, right? Like, and so it felt like, so it seemed like she was expressing concern, like with Kenneth of like, are you sure she can handle raising black children, right? It seemed more of like do you think she's ready? Do you think she gets it? Do you think she knows? And I feel like if that was the case, you knew her first, so why not have that conversation with her? Granted, it could also have a lot to do with producers, maybe telling her to go have this conversation with him. Because, we all know that that's like a topic that's going to bring up not necessarily drama, but like controversy and make the show interesting. So it just came to mind that they could have like egged that conversation on, and that's why she had it with him and not Brittany. Because like, and now granted, I'm thinking of like a friend to friend situation, so maybe they weren't close in the pods, and so she felt more connected to Kenneth because, as two black people you relate, versus maybe she just didn't relate with Brittany, and so there was more comfort or feelings of closeness with Kenneth. I don't know, it just felt weird because, again, I'm thinking on a friend to friend level. If it was my friend and I was like, oh, let's say like I have a white friend and she's gonna date a Hispanic guy, and I'm like, the things that come with Hispanic children. That's not exactly the same, but like you get where I'm going with that. Because I'm Hispanic, I'm trying to like connect. But, like I wouldn't go to the guy whom I've never met to be like, are you sure she can handle it? Or like, do you think she's gonna like understand how tough it is or whatever? I would go to my friend to be like, hey, do you understand what you're getting yourself into? Like, let me talk to you about some things and like to make sure you, oh my God, my stomach is growling. Make sure you get it. And so that's where, I guess like my whole thing is just like, I couldn't understand why she didn't just go to Brittany. But then I kind of had following thoughts of like, well, maybe she really wasn't close to Brittany, right? Because I was thinking about it and I couldn't remember any interactions of them in the pods or like in the women's quarter. So maybe they just weren't close. And so obviously her and Kenneth connecting on being black, she would be more comfortable asking him those questions. So I guess like, I just wanted to share my thoughts and to hear other people's thoughts on that conversation. This scene, okay, really insignificant. And I think I might be promoting like toxic masculinity or something, but why was AD driving? Yeah, it was very much giving Passenger Princess. It was giving Nicole Davies. I was watching her reviews and she was like, it's giving mommy dropping off her kid at school. And I couldn't unsee it. I could not unsee it. It very much gave mom and her child. And a lot of their scenes give me that. It's concerning. But I just thought it was funny because it was very much giving Passenger Princess. And I was so like, and again, not to promote that whole like men only, because obviously I've driven with my husband in the car, but it just kind of feels like this is a time to set like what this is going to look like. And it just, with the whole, I'm just a baby, baby situation. You know, I'm a baby. Clay constantly saying he's a baby. This didn't help. Then we move into Laura and Jeremy. We had the whole beef of Bean Dipgate, and so he slept on the couch, didn't talk to her for the rest of the night. So they're talking the next morning, and he immediately like cuts her off and is like, you know, I shouldn't have done that. I should have handled it better. Like, he's just basically like, I was wrong. Duh, 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 duh. And my thing with that is like, so it's first thing in the morning. He hasn't talked to anyone else. So he figured that out on his own, which in my opinion tells me that you knew that when you did it and you decided to do it anyways. What I don't like about it is, I don't know, it's like, you're going to do something like that again. And we're proven right. I'm proven right. So anywho, yeah, I just didn't like that. And then she's kind of like, you know, yesterday I would have been sure. Today I'm not so sure, which I don't know about that because you seem kind of annoyed with him even yesterday, but I'm on my business. But yeah, so she's, you know, she's like, yesterday I was sure, today I'm not. And she basically expressed concern of like, that's how he deals with conflict. What happens when they have another conflict and he's trying to walk out. Cause he said he wanted to go home, not like home to the hotel room. He wanted to go home. So, but they wake up and it's all good, I guess. These two, listen. But we gonna keep going about these two. We move on to Kenneth and Brittany, and they're on a boat. And y'all, I want to be on a boat so bad. Every time I see any scenes like this, I'm like, I need this in my life. To just be like sitting on the little front tip part of the boat. I want to call it the roof, but it's not. Just like laying there or sitting there getting sun, looking at the water as you, like, I love it. Love it. But anywho, they are sitting in awkward silence. Brittany brings up like physical touch and how does he feel when she touches him, when she has her hand on his leg. And he's like, I love it. Like, it just confirms, you know, that care, that love. He doesn't pick up on that, but, you know, but he like is acting like he did, you know, like he doesn't pick up on the fact that he needs to do more. He just picks up on her kind of pointing it out, making sure that it's okay. Then we just get a bunch of these weird, awkward silence scenes of them on this boat until we see dolphins. And then he's like, dolphins, now you got me talking. And I'm like, damn. So you're aware of what you're doing to her, which is crazy. Because when we get into this next scene of them, like, from the moment that we got so we're going to unpack the day. What went well, what I knew. I'm sorry. I just thought it was funny the way he was like half chewing, half talking. But from that moment, I was like, this is not real. He's not real. I knew it was bullshit. And I was right. I was right. I hate to be right. I hate to be right in situations like this. We go back to Adie and Clay. They've made it to some like restaurant looking over the water or something. And he got some soup. They're eating whatever. He's like bussing the table, which like, I didn't see as a huge deal. Cause like I do that too, right? Like I'll stack the plates. Cause like, you don't want your waiter like grabbing odds and ends trying to hold it all, you know, like they have a plate and then they're trying to put a bowl under. Like if you just stack everything up, they can just grab the stack. But anywho, AD looked so irritated. She, like the faces she was making were a force. So she looked annoyed with him the whole time. Then she asks him, hey, what's on your mind? You know, you look kind of like you're thinking. So he tells her what's on his mind. And she's like upset. Like she's like, I can't believe you're thinking that. Like that's not reassuring, blah, blah, blah. Like whatever she's saying. And it's like, you asked what he was thinking. He wasn't going to tell you. You know, because sometimes people, like, think about it. You have thoughts in your head about certain situations. You're not going to express them because you're not exactly sure that those are the thoughts yet. Or you know that that might bring on, like, a negative energy, if that makes sense. So, like, you ask, and then you get mad about what it is. It's like, you asked. Just don't ask if you don't want to know. So yeah, I mean, he's basically just like, yeah, you know, like, he's essentially kind of like marriage, like, that's forever. And I'm kind of, the, like, gravity is sinking in. And I really want to be great for you. I want to, you know, be everything you want me to be. The man is not healed. The man needs a lot of therapy, needs to be alone. This is what I, like, and this is speaking from someone who should have had that as well. I'm not, like, holier than thou over here. Be alone. Seek therapy, seek to understand yourself fully, like alone, and then be healed and look for a partner, because that shit is messy. It is messy when you and another person are trying to heal yourselves while together. Everyone's back together again, similar to the other night, like all the couples are together hanging out, and we have a few conversations. So we have Jeremy and Laura's like, I know you and Amy are out of like bunnies. And he's like, nope, we actually haven't done it because she's on birth control and I don't want any mishaps. So like, she has to be on birth control, whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. And we'll get more into that conversation because thoughts develop. We have Jeremy explaining clay math to AD. He's like, yeah, he gets in his zones. And I realized that what he really just needs is like space, just kind of give him a space to get through those thoughts and come back. He's like, because we never talked about it, but I noticed in the pods, we'd be like getting ready to go into the pods and he would go from like bubbly clay to like zoned out. And I realized he just kind of needed that space to think those through. And she's like, thank you so much. That's so helpful. I don't think it was. I think she wants him to stop doing that. I would. Just saying. Then we have Jeremy talking to Amy, and he's talking about how he still wants to be Sarah Ann because he wants to explain to her that he has figured out why he didn't choose her, because she asked him why and he didn't have an answer, and now he does, and he just feels like she deserves that answer. Shut the fuck up. He wants to meet her. He's still thinking about her. He's still considering her. He doesn't like how things are going with Laura. That much is clear, honey. We got Chelsea and Jimmy talking highs and lows after this when they get like back to their room. And she's not happy with the answers Jimmy's giving. She asked him, what's your favorite part, worst part of this past week or whatever. And she's like, not the fight. When he says that it's that he bit his lip is the worst. That he like bit it really bad eating taquitos. And she's like, not the fight, blah, blah. And you could tell that she just like wanted better answers. We have Amy and Johnny talking about her dad's approval. And she essentially just says like, it would be really hard for me to say yes if he doesn't approve. But she talks about how she's easily influenced by what they say. And in the past, they have had a big role in like things that were happening in their relationship. This episode ends with everybody going home, essentially to the apartment they're going to live in together until decision day or whatever. We have Jeremy and Laura talking cleanliness. And then we have Brittany trying to unpack with Kenneth, like, hey, do you want this drawer, that drawer, left side, right side, blah, blah, blah. He's on his phone, like glued to that thing. And yes, it's great to be back in real life. And yes, we get your principal. I get principals be busy, y'all. Principals be busy, especially principals of middle schools and high schools. However, you haven't had your phone in 3 weeks. I don't think a couple more hours is gonna like do anything crazy. It was clearly in the evening, so like school's out, like it can wait till the morning. You can put your phone down for a couple more hours to unpack with her, give her that quality time. So we already start seeing he is not who he said he was. We will get more into that next episode, but yeah, so we're seeing now he's like glued to his phone, and it's just like, you cannot be this blatant and not notice. And then she says like, hey, don't be on your phone too much. I feel like that was your signal to be like, oh, okay, I might be forcing it, let me put it down, spend a little time with her. When we get to bed, I can be on my phone, you know, like just such bizarre behavior from this man that we've come to know. I think we end this episode with AD and Clay talking about how his dad cheated, and he's like, my mom doesn't even know that he would take me with him to cheat. And I'm like, well, she's about to find out. I hope to God he had that conversation with her before the show came out, but who knows? But yeah, he's basically like, essentially it's like, oh, I didn't have an example. So I'm like, he's starting to get like scared and nervous about what that means for him. We move into episode 8, and they are seeing each other's places. So we have Laura, who's like shocked by Jeremy's cleanliness. We have Brittany, who's seeing that Kenneth has like no food. There's like nothing in the fridge, and what's in the pantry is junk food. Brittany takes this opportunity to sit with him. I'm pretty sure they're sitting at his house when they talk about this, but she takes this opportunity to talk to him and essentially be like, you know, you don't seem as relaxed or as at peace as you were on like in the pods, on the honeymoon, whatever, like things are shifting. And this man essentially starts his little gaslighting campaign and is like, you know, this is where I think you overthink things, because, you know, where's the grace going to be extended? Like, you know, aside from this morning, like, I've never been like that. And so you can't expect me to be cheery all the time. And, you know, that's where grace needs to be extended. We're going to have days like that. And I need to know, like, are you going to understand? Are you going to be there? I was already iffy. Like I said, I've been iffy from when he said, ooh, we got to debrief or whatever. But I had to let it slide, right? Because there's some truth to it. If that's the first time he's been like that, sure, we extend some grace, wait and see if it's going to be a consistent behavior. But I still felt weird about it. Benefit of the doubt, though. Had to give him the benefit of the doubt and let it go. Elsie has her friends over. She does her little T-Rex running. I have to be honest, y'all. Chelsea is that friend that, like, overcompensates. You know, that friend who's, like, really insecure and awkward or maybe anxious. And so what they do to compensate for that is just be really loud and slightly obnoxious and weird. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be mean. But like, she working my nerves a little bit right now. I've been trying to be understanding, but So her friends get there, they're talking. She talks to them about Trevor, which is so strange because like, Obviously, they probably edited out when she talked about Jimmy, but still, it was just clear that she liked Trevor. And I think there's a part of her that's like, did I make the right decision? Because I think I mentioned in my last review, I feel like she chose Jimmy because she liked that he chose her over someone like Jessica, or who looks like Jessica. When she should have considered, like, well, he can't see me, so, you know. But anywho, yeah. So she talks about Trevor, how he was her type, and she really did love him. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. She's showing them the ring. She brings up that Jimmy had seen Jessica's Instagram, and he hasn't kissed her today. He hasn't been very lovey, and she thinks that that's why. Like, she's wondering if, like, he's seen her and is like, oh, shoot. More on that later. But yeah, so she's talking to her friends. Jimmy finishes work because he was like upstairs working, so she took them like to their porch. He finishes work, he comes down, he meets her friends, they're having a great conversation. He's being very sweet. He's like saying all the right things, you know. Is she your type? Oh yeah, no, she's my type. Chelsea's perfect. Like, you know, I love that she's this, I love that she's that. Very complimentary of her. Good vibes overall. We have Amy and Johnny, I believe, at Johnny's house, and they're talking about how they want to own a home next. Like, that's the next step for them. Then they start talking about the whole birth control situation again. And he's just basically like, she's like, I feel like if we did have an oopsie baby, like, she's like, no, my timeline is the same as yours. Like, she's on the same page as him, wanting to get to know each other first before they bring kids into the world, making sure they're financially stable before they do that. However, she's like, if there was an oopsie baby, I feel like we're in a good position to, like, take care of that baby. We would still have a house with the whole home buying thing. And he's like, yeah, but no, like, I don't want that happening at all. Right? So he's like, you need to get on birth control. And because earlier in the last episode, he talks about how everyone he's been with has been on birth control. Guys, is Johnny aware that birth control is not 100%? This is not me advocating for not using contraceptives, but like, I think a condom would work just as well. You could track her ovulation, help her do that, right? Hey, let's sync this app to both of our phones and I'll help keep track. He could help, right? He could like make other suggestions. Now, what I will say was freaking weird was bringing up a vasectomy. And I think it's because Amy, there might be a little bit of, not immaturity, but ignorance in the knowledge of like birth control, vasectomies, right? Like preventative measures. Because the thing, like, yes, men can reverse vasectomies, but that doesn't guarantee that they'll be able to have kids after reversing it. So I don't know if maybe she meant like they'd freeze some sperm and then like he'd get a vasectomy. I don't know. That was just a weird thing to bring up. Like, there are a lot of other options. Like, literally, if she doesn't want to be on birth control, you wear condoms and let her track her ovulation. Let me know in the comments if I missed at all where he mentioned, like, does he not want to wear condoms? Or is he thinking like, I'll wear condoms, she'll be on birth control, and that'll like cancel out any chance ever? Because that's just not a thing. A lot of people have babies on birth control using condoms. So, sir, nothing's 100%. I don't understand why you're acting like that is. Like, why is that the end all be all? But anywho, it's just a little weird. Okay, now we're talking Brittany and Kenneth now, okay? Because this next scene is when it all comes crumbling down. So they are together, and they are, I forget what they were talking about. Oh, she goes, let's talk about you waking me up at 1:30 when you knew I had to be up at 5 o'clock for work. It's like, yeah, I wanted to say goodnight. Like, I wanted to wake you up. And she's like, at 1:30, like, she's like, you were out pretty late. And of course, he goes again with the, well, where's the grace? Like, we gotta have grace. Like, I'm not gonna be out late all the time. I told you I was getting my hair done, then I met with my mentor. I was texting you every single transition period. Whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. Again, gaslighting, like, oh, where's the grace? It's not always gonna be like this, and you have to be understanding when it is. No, she don't. Who said that? Also, I'm just gonna say it now. My issue with Kenneth, right? Because I don't want to sound like I'm just like agreeing with Brittany and we really don't know the situation. My thing is, he presented a specific type of person in the pods. And so the person that he presented would not be like this. The person that he presented, regardless of how they were feeling in the morning, energy levels, whatever, they presented as the person that would say good morning to you and just be very attentive. And so regardless of energy levels or emotional states, that person that he presented would say good morning no matter what, would be attentive, would be giving her what she's literally asking for, the craving that she's talking about. And so that's my issue with Kenneth, is that you presented her something and now you're trying to gaslight her into believing that you didn't present that and that she just needs to be, she has to have grace for the days that you're not that. But it's like, no, because like regardless, you would always be that. And the fact that she feels the need to like, the fact that she's concerned about it and feels like it's not happening enough is clear that there's more than just like, oh, extending grace over a day or two. Like, clearly it's an ongoing issue, right? Because she's not going to see it once and then be like, I'm not sure about you, you know, like clearly something consistently has been happening. But yeah, so, you know, she starts expressing that concern, and then she's like, you know, I want you to like crave me, and I don't get that from you. Like, I want us to crave each other. She's like, on paper and like what we want in a relationship, we match perfectly, but it feels like it's just not happening with each other. And she's like, and I want that crave. I want us to be craving each other and wanting to be around each other. And he's like, you mean, right? You, because I don't have that issue. It sounds like you. And basically what she's telling him is she wants the attentiveness. She wants him to like want her and like, to just like show that attention, that care, that love. And he flips that into her saying like, she's not attracted to him, or like just can't bring herself to want to be with him or something. I don't know. Like, he completely flips what she's saying, and the poor girl's just there crying, and he's like barely acknowledging it. And then he's just like, yeah, this just won't work, right? And he says some shit like, you know, everything I've been through, blah, 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 I deserve this, I deserve that. Like, so, you know, it's not for to me or you, like, or whatever BS he says. I'm sorry. I just can't get behind it at all. And nobody's perfect, but like, this is on him. This is very much on him, because she was presented with somebody, he switched up, and then is like, you just need to take the switch up. You have to extend me grace. Sometimes there'll be a switch up. No, because also I think he just came back and thought he could just go to back to his regular life. And it's like, no, now you have a partner to factor into that life. You have to take into consideration that you have to spend time with her, that you can't come home late or whenever you want or do whatever you want. And it was so bizarre. But yeah, then he's just basically like, this just doesn't work, does it? And then he's like, come on, give me a hug so there's no beef. It would be the person causing the beef to be like, give me a hug so there's no beef. Like, he like gaslit her. And I hope she doesn't think so. But it's almost like he gaslit her into believing that this is on her. And it's like, this is you. You fully flipped around what she was saying to get to this point. And so to me, it feels like he was planning on breaking up with her and just decided to run with this opportunity. I was like, oh, perfect. Won't be on me. It's on you. We all think it's on you. Yeah, so I guess they're over. All right, we're getting into this Chelsea and Jimmy argument. So the friends are gone, they're home. He's like, you know, I felt like he felt really good about how it went. He felt like he did really great at presenting himself to her friends and that they had a good time and, you know, all of that. And she's like, I was worried. And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, you didn't kiss me all day. Like, you weren't, you know, like, I wasn't feeling the love from you, da da da. And then he's like, I did kiss you actually when you were getting ready. I gave you a kiss on the cheek. After my break, when I was going back up to work, I gave you a forehead kiss. And she's just kind of like, you did? Oh. Clown behavior. But then she's like, you know, I just don't feel the love from you. I feel like I'm giving you everything. And I feel like I'm giving you everything. And you're... And she's just going on about how she's like not feeling like he loves her, or he's not putting in the effort that she's putting in. And so at one point he's just like, look, honestly, you've been a little clingy these past 2 days. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's so disrespectful. I can't believe you'd say it. She loses it. That was so rude. Now, guys, I definitely need conversations about this in the comments, because I didn't find that rude at all. I thought he said it very kindly. Like, clingy is not a cuss word. Like, it's not, he didn't call you a bitch. Like, he said and he said it so kindly. He's like, you know, lately you have been a little bit clingy. He even tries to reiterate later in the conversation, like, I'm just saying in the past couple of days, that's how it's felt. Like, he wasn't saying she's clingy in general. He was just like, the past few days have been a bit much. And she's like, I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you talk. I'm talking. Let me talk. Ma'am, maybe I should just leave since I'm so clingy. She just got petty and weird. And it was like, girl, no, stop it. Or stop it. But yeah, it was just so strange. Then there's that moment where she's like, I cooked for you. He's like, and I'm grateful. Like, no, I cooked for you. I watched your stupid fucking show with you. That girl said, that fucking show. I watched your stupid show with you. I went upstairs and had sex with you. And he's like, well, if you want to bring up the sex, you initiated it. I could have used a break from it. Which that part, a little bit much. But I get where he was coming from when she initiated it. Like, kind of trying to say, like, you're doing all this stuff and then upset that you're not getting the reaction you want for it. He looks like a deer caught in headlights, doesn't know what's happening, like, doesn't know why it's happening. It was just crazy. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go take a break. And he leaves to his, like, actual apartment. And then this episode ends with Jess and Laura meeting. And this is so comical because basically we have Laura talking about Sarah Ann messaging Jeremy Essentially, she was like, hey, hope you're happy, but if you're not, I'm here. Which Sarah, you know, like, it wasn't a bad message, but like, I would wait till he's single to send that. I would wait till I've seen that it ended to be like, hey, still want you. Yeah, because if you still want him, I think you could wait. I don't think you need to destroy the relationship to get in there, you know? But it was funny to me because she's talking all this crap about Sarah Ann doing that, but then she's almost kind of encouraging Jess, not necessarily to do the same, but like for the same energy, right? Like Jess is like, do you think he like likes her? And she's like, I think so. And she's like, but do you think he would want to see me or want to talk to me? And she's like, yeah, he would. I think he would. So it's like that same level. And it's like, okay, so you're like cussing out Sarah Ann for it, but you hyping up your friend for it, which is funny because that's what we do. A lot of us do it. A lot of us girlies do it. But yeah, I guess Jess has seen Jimmy and it didn't throw her off. But I think it's because Jess like fell in love with his personality for whatever reason. I don't see it. I don't get it. But she did. Episode 9 picks up with an adorable moment with Amy and Johnny, where he's like running around with the camera, like pretending to run away from her, and she's like jumping and like popping into frame. It's so stinking cute. It's very cute, very adorable. Just a very wholesome moment with them. I feel like if they could figure out this whole birth control debacle, it would be fine. And we go back to Chelsea and Jimmy, and they are basically making up for the fight, for the absolutely insane fight. And Chelsea is essentially taking zero accountability. She's like, so you need to work on your delivery. I know I need to work on like being emotional and sensitive, but like you just like what you said was so mean. And she just goes in about what he said and how he's wrong. And the poor guy is just like, yeah, I get it. I'll do better. Same as the first fight where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna do what she wants me to do so I don't have to deal with this like volatile energy. Like, and it's just so stupid to me because it's like, girl, like, no, I'm sorry. Like, okay, he got a little bit petty as the argument went on, but in his defense, like she was going in. She's like, clingy? Okay, well, maybe I'll leave. I freaking watched your stupid show and I went upstairs and had sex with you. And it's like, simmer down, babes. So he did get a little bit petty. It did get a little tit for tat. I'm not knocking that. But the initial comment was not mean. And maybe, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it wouldn't hurt your feelings. Of course it would hurt your feelings to hear your partner call you clingy when you're feeling, I mean, she's feeling clingy. Like, you are being clingy. Because it's like, you're going off about this one day that he didn't say good morning or kiss you, which he did kiss her. He corrected her. And she's still like, no, you didn't. Like, but knows that he did. It's so bizarre. So yeah, she just doesn't seem to get it or see that she's wrong. Or maybe she does see that she's wrong, but because Jimmy is so like, okay, like, I'm sorry, babe, I know, whatever you need, she's kind of like convincing herself like, oh, okay, so it's not a problem. You know, it's not necessarily a bad thing because like someone like that could find a partner who's comfortable reassuring them and doesn't get tired of it, but Jimmy's not that guy. And then, of course, Jimmy is like, okay, but you said no sex. So, like, you're taking that back, right? Like, you didn't mean that. It's so stupid. So then we have Jeremy meeting Laura's family. It's a little awkward at first, but then it kind of picks up. And then, of course, what is it with these contestants and the weird conversations with their family or, like, inappropriate topics? She's like, we're in a love triangle. Now we used to be. We are. Because Sarah Ann messaged him or whatever. It's so stupid. But, like, he showed you the message. He didn't reply. We'll get into more later. But as of right now, he's not really done anything wrong for you to be like going like this. But her mom does annotate. She does notice that they have that like mean banter, like that roasting energy. And I don't know. I want to say like, oh, you know, if it works for a couple, but I feel like that would get old no matter who you are. So yeah, her mom is like, it's a little weird, but like, to each their own. AD meets Clay's mom and sister, and there were so many feelings I was having watching this scene. Firstly, him saying like, oh, well, like, I don't come home, but it's because like, you know, this place is an hour away and I have to go there in the morning. So like, I'm not going to go all the way home an hour away. And it's like, you need to like, so your plan for the rest of your life is like to not go home in those situations. Like, no, like, sure. Once in a while you being like, I'm just too tired to make it. But for her to feel the need to bring it up in front of your mama, I don't know. And then, of course, his mom kind of low-key defends him. And she's like, you know, you have to understand if it's for work. And then she's like talking about how But basically, like, if he wanted, he would. Like, she's like, if you love someone, you do put in the effort to spend that time with them. Well, also have me a little bit weak, and I'm gonna be so mean for this because this is mommy. I respect my elders, but his mom's like, I am divorced, but 26 years is a good run. And it's like, babes, man was cheating on you. It wasn't a good run. I'm sorry. It was a long time, but it was not a good run. Like, I'm sorry. Who would want, like, no, I don't want to be in a 26-year-old relationship. 26-year-long relationship where he's like dogging me out. That is not a good run. That's not what I would identify as a good run. But then again, he did say that she doesn't know that he took him on all these excursions to cheat. So that Clay said that. So I mean, maybe she doesn't know how bad it actually was. But overall, it was very interesting. I don't know about y'all. I got the vibes that Clay looked down on whatever her job is. He said something about like she works the nightlife or something, so she doesn't get it or she won't get it. I don't know. It seemed like he was kind of like, my job's more important than yours, so you need to relax and let me do what I want to do. Chelsea meets Jimmy's two best friends that are girls. And that, I mean, it goes well. They're like chatting it up and they're like, oh, like, were you worried about him having friends that were girls? And again, I feel like this was the same vibes as like AD and her calling out AD's butt and then getting mad about it. I feel like she's like, I did, but like then, like, one of my exes, we realized we were better as friends. So I do have a guy friend who is my ex. So like, I kind of have to be understanding. I can't really be like upset here. So like, but you guys are cool. And it's clear that it's like, she was definitely bothered by it. But like, as we all know, like, you're not allowed to act like you are, right? Like, you're not supposed to act like you are. So we'll see. I have a feeling that the whole like, you slept with her, or whatever, you had sex with her, whatever she says, has to be related to one of those two girls or another friend that's a girl in her life. I don't feel like it's Jess, but I'm waiting for it. They really tricked us into thinking that was going to be in these episodes, but I can't wait till next week to find out. So then we have Amy meeting Johnny's family. It's very precious. It goes so well. His sisters love her. His sisters are laughing. They're like, oh my God, I love that you know that, because she's the one who says like what he was going to be named and all that. So it was a very sweet, wholesome meeting. Honestly, probably my favorite of the show. I loved to see that everybody came in without awkwardness and without like this weird like energy, that energy of like, I already don't like you, if that makes sense. And I feel like most of the time we get that because of the whole like, they're not behind the experiment. And it's like, you cannot be behind that and still not come in here making this person feel all awkward and uncomfortable. Like, you don't even know them. This episode ends, y'all. I cannot believe it. We go to Jeremy and Laura talking, and we did see this in the previews that like he was somewhere with Sarah Ann until 5 a.m. Now, guys, I did not know it was gonna be this bad. Like, that's bad no matter what. I don't care if you guys were just hashing it out and you were fine and you weren't playing. Do not stay out talking to a girl you almost married, like you were tit for tat with me, till 5 a.m. That's nuts. That is criminal behavior, okay? So anyways, she's like, yeah, so like, what happened last night, right? She's like, let's hear it. So he's like, we were going karaoke. I guess he was supposed to be going with the Love is Blind guys. We were going karaoke. They changed the location to Lost and Found, I think was a club, some shit like that. I found out Sarah Ann was going. I almost didn't go. I was going to go home. And then I was like, you know what? No. Like, I'm not going to let this person control where I do and do not go. So I went. And she was giving me the coldest shoulder. And so I went after her because I was like, we need to hash this out. We need to talk. And so we did. You were talking to Sarah Ann till 5 a.m? Yeah. Where were you? Where were you talking? In the parking lot. No, you weren't. You're going to lie to me? You're going to lie to me? I'm not lying. It's not a lie. We were in the park. Like, what? I saw your location. Well, you obviously the parking lot's like across the street, so it's not going to be like right at the. No, that Lost and Found is at South End. You were at North End. Is that not where Sarah Ann lives, baby? When I tell you that man, that man was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not saying nothing or whatever. That man pleaded the fifth so quickly. And she was just like, forget this, and walked off. That was what, you guys, I promise you, was not expecting that. I wasn't. I genuinely was expecting that when I saw the previews and it was her being like, you were with Sarah until 5 a.m. I think I might have said it in the video, or maybe I didn't, but I was like, I feel like what's going to happen is like everybody was there. And it was just like, they were all in an open space and he was talking to her, but like other people were around. Nadi's at her house. and you shared your location. Did you not think she was gonna check it? Did you think like, yeah, she's not gonna check it because it's gonna be enough that I shared it? How maniacal, how diabolical, insane behavior, criminal offense. Let's move into coming up because I can't wait. So we have Clay continuing to talk about cheating. And at this point, it's like, AD, baby, you know, this man is just trying to set you up so that if he does, he can be like, you know, I told you this is what I was worried about, or like play some sort of like, there's a deeper cause. And so you don't need to focus so much on the cheating and we just need to fix what it is that made you do it. Girl, run. Her run. I don't believe she's gonna say yes to him. I've also noticed in a lot of the scenes, she looks irritated with him. And whenever he's like, you know, and our kids and da-da-da, she's just kind of like, yeah. There was like one instance where she was like, yeah, I could picture myself here, like cooking breakfast, our kids. But like, other than that, it's just, there's this energy of just like, you know? So I don't know, but this man needs, like I said, be alone, go heal. We have the moment with Amy's dad. Obviously we're teased with like, oh, will you give me your daughter's hand? And he's like, you know, that's a lot or whatever. Like there's a lot to ask, whatever he says. And Elsie meets Trevor. We see them talking and, you know, she's like, you're so my type, blah, 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 blah. And again, see, okay, in my opinion, when people are in love triangles and you have a person who's 100% about you, only talking to you, and someone who's talking to somebody else, I'm choosing 100%er. We get these scenes with Sarah Ann and it seems so interesting. It's Sarah Ann and AD and standing and AD's like, that is not your man. And I'm wondering, okay, you know what? Now that I think about it, she was probably saying that like about Laura, like trying to say like, oh, if he said this to you, Sarah Ann, then that is not her man. But like that, then that's not your man. I don't know. But she was going off. And I kind of hope she was going off at Sarah Ann because I would love to see an interaction like that of just like calling out your girl to be like, this shit's fucked up, girl. That's not your man. Stop. You know what I'm saying? Like the energy that I be having with my friends. Then we also get another scene of them sitting talking and she's like, yeah, he said like that he was going to end everything with her. And I was like, okay. But Jeremy's there with Laura. So I'm like, did he not? Like, is he trying to like play them both? Like, what is this? And then the shade room pops up, you guys, that apparently he had a fiance the whole time he was filming. So I cannot wait for more information on that. In fact, I need to go, I'm going to do a spoilers video. I'm going to start like looking into everything that's coming out so far. And we're going to sit down and talk about it because I got to look for more tea. There's got to be more tea. Lastly, we're teased again with Chelsea and the whole, like, you know, you slept with her, like, you had sex with her, whatever she says. And like I mentioned, I feel like it's probably related to some friend that was a girl that he maybe didn't tell her was his ex, and she somehow finds out and is like, so you know, like, so you did, so you blah, blah, blah. I don't see it being Jess, but I guess you never know. Anywho, like, I hope you enjoyed this recap. Like the video if you did. Comment down below. What do we think? Like, where are we at, guys? Comment. I gave you a lot of comment down below moments, so you better be commenting in all of those moments. Go back, watch them, and comment if you didn't. Subscribe. Go back and comment. Go back, watch, and comment if you didn't, okay? Subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.